You're about to listen to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm your host Kelly, and the author of When Everyone Shines But You, a mental health and self-acceptance blogger and a recovering darkness addict. I have experienced intense anxiety, deep depression and life trauma, but I'm coming out of the other side now. Darkness was a comfort zone for me for a long time, and it felt safer than the light. So in this podcast I share with you my journey into the light and how I move through challenge in an empowering way. I'll share with you tools and nurturing ways to embrace your humanity. I was once a shy, scared introvert, afraid to speak, but that's all changing. Let's take this journey together and learn to fly. Hi there, welcome back to Kelly Martin Speaks. I'm your host Kelly Martin and this is episode 63. Today I'm going to talk about reactions and how do we actually live in this world where we are being triggered on so many levels, from the polarities taking place between different people, the polarities taking place and the divisions because of politics, because of colour, because of gender, because of different preferences we have in life. There are huge triggers happening all over the place right now. And yes, our leaders are triggering us even further and the division is getting wider, but we do need this. We need things to get hotter, and that's why, in a way, probably there are so many fires taking place. The huge one in the Amazon rainforest, which I'm finding very painful, and it's triggering me because I love nature, I love this planet, I love animals. And there are fires taking place in Africa, there are fires taking place everywhere, and fires are transmutation. Fires are actually, they fire us to do something, they fire us up. They make us want things to change. They enlighten us, but they also burn us if there's too much fire. And this is what's happening on the earth right now. Humanity as a whole is going through a deep cleansing, a deep transmutation. We've got floods, we've got droughts, we've got hurricanes. And the climate's changing. There's no doubt about that. Scientists are proving this, even if certain politicians are looking at it and saying that it's not true. It is true. We really need to take it seriously. But that's another subject altogether. What I want to talk about is reactions and how do we actually respond to reality and to people without reacting. So I'm going to read you a little something from a writer called Carrie Horn, and she's a teacher of the ancient philosophy of the I Ching, and I've mentioned her a few times in my podcast. I find the I Ching's quite a deep understanding of how to operate in the world. Now, what she says about reaction is at times when there basically is world chaos, divisions taking place, it really calls for a period of patience and reflection. Where you may have been reactive in the past, it is time to learn how to be responsive. So learning to respond instead of react. Reaction is a defensive position to uphold the known, while responsiveness is open to the unknown. It encourages you to yield the way each day in a creative awakening, a sense of openness, and to release clinging to structure and form, which will be necessary to give birth to this new energy in a way. So in a way, many of us that might be holding on to the old and to the past structures, we're clinging on to them. And because of that, it's not allowing the birth of this new energy, which is all this fire that's happening. Now, the difference between reaction and response is your ability to use your senses and not the memory mind while observing. So in other words, you stand in the moment with a sense of openness to what is unfolding without defending the past. So we look at our reality right now, and we look at Mother Earth, we look at politics, we look at the divisions taking place, and we look at it without defending the past. We look at it from a fresh, new place with new eyes. How can we come together as a people? What commonalities do we have? How can we work together? How can we compromise? How can we stand true to our beliefs but know that perhaps some of those beliefs need to go, that they're old and they no longer work in this new modern era that we're in? How can we progress forward? She also says, connect with each sense. So, are you listening? Are you seeing how life speaks to you? Are you really listening? For example, with the news and what's happening in the world, a lot of people are looking to their leaders for the news instead of doing some really creative research. There are news outlets out there on the internet that are unbiased, that instead of looking towards the left or the right, they're in the center. There's one called All Sides. I think it's allsides.com. And that's really good for seeing the left and the right and the center viewpoints, opinions, and positions on what's happening in the world. So ask yourself if you're truly listening and truly seeing what's happening. What is the truth? And it's also a time to remove preconceptions and judgments. To be aware that all things change in time, and a period of action reflected by what she calls the underlying cause of the creative must give way to its opposite, which is reflection. So we've had a lot of change, a lot of action. A lot of people are getting really stirred up about this. But now is a time for reflection. Like in winter, it is a time to turn within and reinvigorate your inner world in preparation for a springtime that is yet to come. So we need to reflect on what's happening so that we can be ready for the new beginning, whatever that is. And to embody an open field in any activity. In other words, you are called to put your needs aside, to serve, to open and reflect before acting. The power of success comes from within, so move into the world from the inside out. So whenever you see the news, you see world leaders, your president, your prime minister, your family, whoever it is, stating their opinions or their viewpoints, slow down, stop, become quiet, reflect, go inside and see whether it needs a response, whether it's worthy of a response, whether you need to make yourself right or wrong. And to know that the receptive is the womb holding the energy of attraction by the way of intention. That requires the development of sincerity and patience. So how many people in the world do you know are feeling patient right now? How many are genuinely responding, not reacting? Who is reflecting? Are you reflecting? Or are you reacting based on what has been in your life and what you think is needed based on the past? Or are you looking to the potential of the new? What needs to change? Do your beliefs need to shift? Do you need to look within for your answers instead of to the leaders or the media out there that may not be very unbiased? Do you need to do your own research? Do you need to find out what's truly happening for you? What's happening in the bigger picture? What's happening in the world as a whole? Is it time to step outside of your little bubble where you live and engage and connect to other people maybe people that you felt like you couldn't talk to or you couldn't communicate to. Maybe these people you need to get to know better. Maybe you need to engage more with the world. Who knows? Only you will know what you need. So this is just a very short podcast today because I know a lot is going on and I wanted to bring it to you as easily and as clearly as I possibly could. So good luck on your journey right now. I know time is hard. I know the world is fired up. There are fires. There is chaos. But know that you are the difference. You can make the difference between the world continuing the way it is and the world changing and the new beginning coming when that new spring comes. So thanks for listening to another episode of Kelly Martin Speaks. And I'll be back again next week. And just for your information, I will be starting a new YouTube series on my YouTube channel, Kelly Martin Speaks. And it's going to be called World Events for Dummies. I've been quite ignorant to what's happening in the world myself for a very long time, and I'm going to do a lot of research and do my best to give an unbiased understanding of what's happening in the world. It won't be perfect. It'll be the best I can give, because some of you may not know what is happening. You may not want to know, but I will do it in the most kindest, empowering, gentle way possible, so it's not too painful to receive what's taking place. So until next time, bye for now. You've been listening to my podcast, Kelly Martin Speaks. I'd really appreciate your feedback. If you're listening on iTunes, please give me a review. It helps me be seen and heard by those that need it. You can also follow me on kellymartinspeaks.co.uk, where you can read my blogs, find out about my book series, and subscribe to my monthly newsletter. I'm also all over social media, so search for me via Kelly Martin Speaks on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. I'll speak to you next week. Bye.